All right, here's both the wing spars, how they come. Just unwrapped them, haven't really did anything else to them. I got one side facing down, one side facing up here. And they look pretty good. Here's some of the parts that come with them. They're taped inside, look like a nut and bolt. And this little bracket here. They got the holes already pre-drilled for the ribs. Make sure that scratch isn't too deep. Nope, just surface scratch. And I'll inspect these, make sure all the rivets look okay. And make sure all the edges, actually all the edges look pretty good already, so I shouldn't have to do much for finishing those up. Actually, they look just perfect the way they are. And 3R, assuming that's the right side. Maybe that'll probably have to come out. And here's the other side. This will be where they attach, right here, to the fuselage. All right, looks like they even have a little plate on there. What version? Maybe it's version 3. I don't know, V3. And there's my plans number. Here are the nose ribs. And the rear ribs. So we're going to take those, unwrap those from the tape, see if they need deburred. Looks like the plans say to up drill the holes to a 30 and then to a size 20, but it appears that the nose ribs are already final size. Now the rear ribs, which that's for the rear strut, they're only, looks like 40 size holes already. And looks like these are, looks like they're 20 size already as well. So maybe a little bit less drilling than I anticipated. Okay, so all the nose ribs, top and bottom, flanges, everything's already to size 20. All the rear ribs are not. So they want you to up drill the holes that are already there. They're probably like size 40 or so. They want you to up drill to size 30 and then come back with a size 20 drill bit to up drill them to final size. So a couple hours probably of drilling holes and then deburring. Then I can start assembling this. So the nose ribs actually came already drilled to size 20, which is very, very nice. Like I said before, the rear ribs actually had to up drill all the holes to 30, then up to size 20 after that. Lots and lots of work, and then deburred everything after that. The inside of the hole and the outside of the hole. So a lot of work involved in that. The edges weren't too bad on the rear ribs. There was a few areas I had to dress up. But luckily the nose ribs are all final hole size to 20. The only thing is the edges are a lot rougher than the rear ribs. I'm gonna try to get a picture of this so you can actually kind of get an idea. And not all of them are this bad, but there are quite a few that are kind of bad here. Not sure how well you can see how that is there, but pretty rough. There's maybe a better idea. There's a lot of little ripples in it on these little flanges, and they're kind of challenging to clean up. I'm not sure how much to actually clean up. Typically you get your fingernail down in there. This is kind of a gray area, I think, on how much to clean up on that. But I am smoothing it out. Honestly, I'm using my Dremel tool with a little sander disc on it. That actually takes care of those little ridges really nice. If they're really bad, I'll use a file. And then a little 220, I think, sandpaper. Kind of go around the edges helps as well. But there's a lot of nose ribs to do. Yeah, and then I'm deburring deburring the holes on the outside as well. That's taking a little bit of time, but it's going to be an all-day project here. I've been out here probably about 7 hours so far, and I got a couple more hours in me, and before I wrap it up tonight. Hope to get all the ribs done tonight so I can start putting everything on the spar tomorrow. Well, last night I was able to finish up all the ribs. I deburred all the holes, got all the edges smooth, was able to clean them up a little bit, and it was dark outside, but I went ahead and primed the edges. Got a little overspray on some of the surfaces, no big deal. But primarily I was focused on the edges where the rivets actually go, or the flanges where the rivets go. So that dried throughout the night, along with the main spars. I made sure to put a little bit of primer where the ribs go. I'm not sure that's going to help, but just made little lines there. But hopefully my goal is when I get this the ribs on there, I don't want to take the ribs back off. I can just go ahead and Cleco and maybe speed up the process. Okay, so I got all the ribs on the main spars here. Just making sure the orientation is correct, and just making sure that you're aware that some of the rear ribs have this holes in it for the flapper on support brackets there, and nothing else that really stuck out as of yet. So we're gonna move on and see what else we can do. The next step is to, once you get the ribs on there, is to take these other ribs, kind of a little bit separate, a little bit, in fact, a lot thicker than the other ribs. I'm not sure how thick they are. It tells me anyway. Ooh, it doesn't say. But anyway, they're pretty thick. They're the root ribs, the ribs that's closest to the fuselage. And again, they weren't really in the same pile as my other ribs. So the holes are probably 40 size. They want us to, like the other ribs, they want us to up drill 30 and then up to a 20 final size. So I'm gonna do that again and go from there. So we're looking at the root rib, the nose rib, and see if we can capture the dilemma here. The angles between the root rib flanges and this angle right here, is very, very different, where you can't, these two holes on the rib won't line up with the holes on the spar. I say the key is to bend this down so it matches that tab there. So we're gonna, okay, so looking at the root rib again, this is on my left wing. I found out all you have to do is, to get this to work and to fit pretty well, is bend this down, primarily more down here than up here. I guess we'll see later when we fit it to the fuselage, or the skin, I guess. And I rounded that area right there just ever so slightly on that green piece here, and this thing will fit like a glove now. Next, you install the root rib doubler. They join the rear root rib and the front root rib together. And all it is just a little plate. I think I have one here. There's one. They come pre-drilled to probably a size 40 or so, and you have to enlarge it up to a 30, and then to a 40, or then to a 20 size hole. And you put a center line down the middle, because none of these ribs have holes in them, so you have to get these little pilot holes in this doubler. You just find a location, clamp it in place, and drill into the ribs. Now we're going to take off one of the nose ribs and put it on the tie-down ring. You just line up the edge with the aft edge of the flange there, and the edge of the hole with the bottom of the flange of the rib. And as you can see, the rib has no holes in it, just the pilot holes already in the tie down ring. Clamp that down in place, drill up to number 20. All right, here's all the pieces to the rear channels here for the rear spar. Look like most of the holes are already size 20. I'm assuming that's going to be final size for most of the parts here. They are pretty rough as far as the holes go. Definitely will take some deburring, and so we're going to do that. I'll deburr all the holes. The edges on the channels here don't look too bad, so I probably won't do much to those. I'll inspect them, and if there's anything that's a little rough or a little nub or something sticking up, I'll go ahead and get rid of that with a file. But other than that, I'm just going to clean them up, probably even prime them as well before putting them on. I was getting ready to put the rear spar channels on, and then I realized, oh, there's some couple doublers and splice plates there. These splice plates actually join the outboard to the inboard rear spar. They're coming two separate pieces. So I had to deburr those, clean the edges off, and I'm getting ready to spray them with some primer. While I'm waiting for my other pieces to dry over here, went ahead and clecoed my, these are the inboard rear channel. These are the doubler, the little angles get attached to that. I just clecoed those in place. There is a special one for the top and for the bottom. They're at different angles. And also, while I was waiting, I made these little clips here. They go on the rear spar. You just got to make these out of raw stock. What side is this? Left side. So it goes over here. Goes on that angle there. Just kind of fits in there like so, and then already has some holes in the top. You just have to mass drill those through into that, and they'll get riveted on like that. Also, I have the spar tips out. I'm getting ready to take the stickers off that, deburr any holes, and smooth out the edges. But on this one, as you can see, you have pre-drill holes right there as well. And you have to make a similar type of angle, of course a lot longer, and then match drill that as well. So while I'm waiting for my primer to dry, I'm gonna go ahead and clean this up and make the angles for the spar tips, for the spar. Here's one of my wing tips, and here's the other L angle I made. It's just gonna fit right underneath there like that, and I'll back rivet through there, I think to size 30, and we'll start putting this thing together. What? Why are you laughing at me? It's not funny, baby. Okay, so the rear spar is on. All the parts are deburred, primed, literally ready to rivet at this point. I don't believe there's any more holes to deburr or to up drill. Here's the splice plate. This is outboard side. That's the inboard spar. They meet up somewhere right around there somewhere. That's a spar. All right, so at this point, I've riveted the nose ribs on, and the tie down bracket as well, along with the tip rib as well. Got this riveted. Got those ginormous A6 rivets. They are they're big. Sometimes it takes 2 squeezes even with my pneumatic riveter. All right, now it's time to start riveting the rear spar.